Hey everybody, welcome back to L&B Outdoors. Hey, do y'all remember this video? Now that wintertime's here, hay season's over with, we got some time to tinker on a few things. I want to get this stripped down, get the head off of it. I want to look in this number one cylinder right here, see how bad it is. We did get it to run in that video. I ran it. I did a lot of work to this to try to bring it back to life, but it's just got no power. So I'm sure either valves or that cylinder wall is so scored up that it can't build compression. So we're going to try our best to get this off today and see what it's all going to entail. Yes, it needs to be rebuilt, but I try to do things on the cheap. All right, to do that, as you know, we done got the tank off, but we got to remove each of these injectors, all the injector lines. You got your exhaust manifold. You got your water temperature gauge. And gosh, that's going to be pretty close. You got your water pump hose on the top right here. And then you got your air intake hose. And that's about it. And then we'll be able to pull the valve cover off, remove the rockers and the push rods. Then we'll be getting down to our head bolts. So I'll just bring you back in each step as I'm doing this. All right, first you're going to take your fuel return lines off. And be careful when you take them off, because you're going to have some brass washers whenever you take these lines loose. A lot of these fuel lines take brass washers like that. So we're going to take this off. We're going to put the fitting in here, in the washer. And then we'll set the line to the side. Just got them in a little Tupperware container, trying to hang on to everything as we go. Next, we're going to start taking these injection lines off, and then the injectors themselves. Now that we got the lines off, we're taking the last bolts off of the actual injectors themselves. Now, I've had these off before, working on this, but sometimes these injectors can be tough to get out, and you may have to stick a pry bar underneath here and pry them. But all of these are loose, like I say, because I've been working on this earlier this year. And on the bottom of these, you'll see that it'll have little brass washers. You need to save them too if it'll come off. Kind of hard to do stuff one-handed here. But anyway, that's how your injectors come out. So I'm going to get these out. Then we'll start on the temperature sender and getting the exhaust off. So the temperature sender, it's a 5/8. Get that loose. And that should pull right out. Sometimes they are tough to get out. You may have to get a pair of pliers and pull on it. In this case is what I'm going to have to do. Well, in this case, if you can see it, I know it's in the shadow right there. It broke off, whatever. We'll get a plug and fix that later. You got a water hose here that we'll have to take loose. All that'll come off. On this side, you've got the intake hose that we'll have to take loose. And you can take this whole flange off the head if need be, but I'm going to keep it. Looking for a line that goes right back here. I'll have to. That is an oil line. Looks like it runs up to the head, so we'll have to take that loose. So this hose will have to come off. This engine lift bracket right here will have to come off to get to that oil line. So we're making progress. It don't take a long time to do it, just little nicknoid stuff. This is the bracket I'm talking about. You got an oil line that runs from the block and up and into the side of the head right here. You got to take this lift point off to get to it. So right here's that oil line. It runs up to this point right here, brings oil to the top side of your head. It runs down to this point. This is the block. This is where the block ends and the head starts right here. So this is the oil line I was referring to. We got to take it off and get it out of the way. And all it is just a 7/16. It's just kind of stuck up in there in like a little cavity. Kind of hard to get to. You do have to remove that cover or that lifting access eyelet to even get to it. So we're going to get this off and put it in a safe place so we don't lose all these parts. That's why I got all the Tupperware containers out. Kind of know where they go, what needs to be done. So we'll get this line off and I'll bring you back in. There's your little line. One good thing about having an engine that had several oil leaks, fuel leaks, things like that, not much stuff gets corroded. You know, if these were brake lines, they'd spin in two, break off. So luckily, we're having good luck so far with these metal lines coming off like they're supposed to. All right, exhaust is off. That was a little bit of a bear on these bottom ones. Kind of hard to get a socket in there. Kind of have to do it with a wrench and little turns at a time. We're gonna get our valve cover off. Should come right off of there. And then we got our rockers that we've got to take loose. So let's get that started. So I got our rockers loose. We're gonna take our whole assembly off. We got one oil line right there that I missed. Can y'all see it right down there? We gotta take that loose, but I think what we'll do is we'll take it loose right here at the head. Remember that one I took off a while ago? This is where this one comes up through. I forgot about it. So we're gonna get it taken loose. Then we'll be able to pull this whole rocker assembly up and out. There you go. Okay, now that fiasco's over with, is our rocker assembly. We'll put it in our valve cover. Put this over here with the rest of our parts. And now we're getting ready to zip this head off. All right, we're going to zip these head bolts loose. All right. Now we've taken off. I don't know if we're... All right, we got all the head bolts loose. We're going to put them all in our bucket so we don't lose them. And we're going to see if this head, make sure I ain't got no more nuts or bolts laying around anywhere. And we're going to make sure that the head is loose. Oh yeah, it's loose. It's going to take some prying. Get this thing off. It's coming. Slowly but surely. Ah, did y'all see that? Dadgummit. She fell right back down. See if I can get it pulled back up again. I don't want to put my fingers underneath it, but there we go. Head is off. All right. Now this front cylinder was the one that had all the water in it and had all the nastiness whenever we first got it running almost a year ago. I don't know if y'all can tell or not, but I don't see any major scoring. I don't see any major issues, honestly. That's good. I mean, we could tear this on down and hone it, re-ring it and everything, but I would have figured we'd have had a lot more issues than what I'm seeing so far. So let me get the head flipped over and let's look at the valves on it. Could be valve issue. Well, there's your valves on the number 1 cylinder. They look pretty rough. I bet they probably got some broke edges. So this is probably the major culprit, and it could be them broke. It could be broke rings too. Well, our wire brushed a little bit. You can just see how bad rusty and pitted that valve and everything is there. It ain't got perfect edges. And if you come down to these, these don't look bad at all. I don't see any issues with these. Of course, they probably need to be cleaned and relapped. But these two here needs to definitely be changed. Head needs to be cleaned up, finished torn apart. Just clean it all up. I noticed in some of the water jackets, there's some crusties and old bug carcasses and everything else. So that'll all have to be cleaned out. Tappets look good. All right, so we know we got some valve issues on that number 1 cylinder. I'm still kind of torn since I've got it torn down this far. I'm still trying to debate on if I just want to go ahead and remove the whole engine, put it on the engine stand and go through it, or I just want to try to do a little bit of head work on this and slap it back together. I plan on using it. Plan on using it a lot in the hay fields. So now's the downtime and now's the time to do it. So I'm trying to decide on what I'm going to do, but at least we've got an idea now of what's going on with it. So, hey, that's just part of it, I guess. I appreciate y'all watching. Y'all like, share, and subscribe. Let me know what y'all think I should do with it. And we'll see y'all in the next video.